When I married Tessa, I expected that merging our lives wouldn't be simple. She was stunning, independent, intelligent, sharp-witted, and captivating. But when it came to her daughter, Lily, she remained distant, even guarded. Lily was 7, petite, quiet, with large brown eyes that always seemed to be watching me like I was something to be feared. Even early in our relationship, whenever I offered her gifts or read her bedtime stories, she'd sit frozen in the corner, unmoved. "She just needs time," Tessa would laugh lightly, brushing it off like it was nothing. She's used to it being the two of us for a long time. And I believed her, because love convinces you of things. But the moment we all moved under one roof, the atmosphere changed. Lily never threw tantrums. But whenever Tessa stepped out, she dissolved into quiet sobs, her shoulders trembling, tears slipping down her cheeks without a sound. And when I tried to soothe her, she'd shrink away from me, eyes wide with terror, as if I were a stranger. Or worse, "Is something bothering you, Lily?" I'd ask gently. She never responded with words, only shook her head, over and over. When I told Tessa, she simply shrugged. "She just doesn't like you." "Don't take it personally," she said with a smirk, not irritation, more like amusement, almost as if she enjoyed that her daughter recoiled from me. Still, I kept trying. I made her pancakes with her favorite chocolate chips, slipped sweet little notes into her lunchbox, and always offered to read at bedtime, even if she never accepted. Then came the business trip. Tessa was scheduled to attend a work conference for 3 nights. She seemed unsure about leaving Lily behind, but I assured her, "I've got this. Maybe spending time alone will help her open up to me." She kissed me goodbye, gave Lily a hug, and walked out the door. That first night, Lily barely spoke. We watched a movie together, but she clutched the blanket tight and stayed curled on the far end of the couch. Not once did she meet my gaze. Eventually, she drifted off to sleep without a word. But the second evening, something shifted. I was folding laundry in the living room when she tiptoed toward me, gripping her school backpack against her chest like a shield. "Daddy," she said in the softest whisper, "can I show you something?" She unzipped her bag slowly, then reached inside, and what she pulled out froze me where I stood. My fingers trembled before I even knew why. Without thinking, I grabbed my phone and dialed 911. Chapter 2, what she hid inside. The 911 operator picked up almost instantly. "911, what's your emergency?" My voice cracked. My stepdaughter just showed me something. She's only 7. I'm not entirely sure what it means, but I swallowed. I think someone's been hurting her. Lily stood in front of me, her little arm still holding the backpack open. There were tears in her eyes, but they weren't out of fear. They looked like the tears of someone who'd finally been heard. "What exactly did she show you, sir?" the operator asked, calm but firm. I looked down again, still shaken. It was a child drawing made with crayon, but it wasn't the kind you'd stick on a fridge. No sun or flowers or smiling stick figures. Instead, it showed a little girl with brown hair and a pink dress. Clearly Lily, and beside her, a tall figure scribbled over with black, its face obscured. They were in what looked like a bedroom, the door tightly shut. Above them, written repeatedly in crooked red crayon, was a single word: "No, no, no," over and over in rushed, frantic handwriting. There was a red stain drawn on the bed. In the corner of the page, a speech bubble came from the faceless figure. "Don't tell, or Mommy will go away forever." My knees buckled beneath me. I dropped to the floor. "Sir," the operator asked again, "do you believe the child is in immediate danger?" "Yes," I whispered, staring at Lily. "She's safe now," but she wasn't before. "Please, send someone quickly. Help is on the way. Stay with the child. Do not leave the house." I hung up and turned to Lily. My voice was barely more than a whisper. "Sweetheart, who was the man in the picture?" She didn't answer at first. Then she slowly walked to the couch, climbed onto the cushions, and hugged her knees tightly. "I don't know his name," she said quietly, "but he used to come over when Mommy wasn't here." The silence in the room felt like it might suffocate me. Does she know about him?" For the first time, she truly looked me in the eye and nodded. She told me never to say anything. My blood ran cold. Chapter 3. The Doorbell. The doorbell rang, loud and abrupt. It felt like a thunderclap. When I opened it, 2 police officers stood there along with a woman wearing a plain coat and a serious expression. A laminated badge hung from her collar. Child Protective Services. Mr. Carver? The taller officer asked. I nodded and stepped aside. And this is Lily? The woman asked gently. She's my stepdaughter, I said, still shaken. My wife, her mom, is away on a business trip. I didn't know until tonight. It didn't happen when I was here. The CPS worker crouched down beside Lily and spoke softly. Hi, sweetheart. I'm Miss Jenna. Is it okay if I sit with you for a minute? Lily didn't move right away. Then she gave the smallest nod. I handed the drawing to the officer. His jaw tensed as he studied the disturbing details. Did she say who the man is? He asked. No, I replied, only that he used to come when her mom was gone, and that her mom told her not to tell anyone. The 3 of them exchanged looks. Where's your wife right now? Asked the other officer. She's in New York for a business conference. I muttered. Left 2 nights ago. Did you have any idea what was happening in your home? The officer asked, his tone calm but pointed. Shame flooded my chest. I felt sick. I'd been living in this house, calling it safe, and I hadn't looked closely enough. I didn't know, I said quietly. But now that I do, she won't have to face this alone. Not anymore. The CPS worker gently took Lily's hand. Would it be okay if we talked in a different room? She asked. Lily gave a tiny nod and followed her without a word. Just then, the officer's radio crackled to life. Dispatch! We've got a second related call. The officer turned back to me and lowered his voice. Sir, do you happen to know someone named Logan Franks? My breath caught. Yeah, I replied slowly. He works with my wife. Why? Without a word, he pulled out his phone, tapped a few times, then turned the screen so I could see it. It was grainy surveillance footage, time-stamped at 2:14 a.m., 2 weeks prior. Logan appeared on camera entering the side gate to our house. He didn't knock, didn't call. He used a key. My knees buckled. I grabbed the table for support. Mr. Carver, the officer said gravely, we need to talk about the man your wife's been giving access to. Chapter 5. The truth comes out. Tessa's plane landed at 6:25 p.m. She called me right after touching down. Her voice was cheerful, completely unaware. Hey, babe, she chirped. Just landed. Can't wait to get home and cuddle my baby girl. How's Lily doing? I stared at the phone, bile rising in my throat. Lily wasn't home anymore. CPS had taken her for a medical check and placed her in protective custody. The police were still here, collecting statements. I'd given them everything, our router, the cloud login for security cameras, even an old iPad that Lily sometimes used to play games. That's where we found it, a folder hidden behind a disguised app. Inside were photos and messages exchanged between Tessa and Logan. Some of them were chilling. One message from Logan read, she doesn't say anything. I told her what happens if she does. Another from Tessa, just be careful. I don't want John getting suspicious. And the most horrifying one, sent hours before she boarded her flight. She's still crying from your last visit. You need to back off for a bit. I'll be gone for 3 days. Do not go to the house. She knew. She had known all along. And she protected him. I hit record on my phone and answered her call. Tessa, I said evenly. Hey, she said, suddenly cautious. Is everything okay? You sound off. I need to ask you something. Sure, what is it? Why did Logan have a key to our home? Silence. What? I saw the footage. 2 weeks ago, 2:14 in the morning. He used a side gate. No knock. Straight inside. John, I don't know what you're talking about. You do, I said, voice trembling with fury. I've seen the messages. The ones where you say, she doesn't talk. The ones where you tell him not to visit while you're away. Another long silence. You went through my personal messages? No, I snapped. The police did. She gasped. They're here. Right now. And they know everything. Lily told me what he did. She showed me a drawing. You lied to me. You let that man walk into this house. You allowed him to hurt your daughter. Tessa burst into loud sobs, over-the-top panic sobs. I didn't know what to do, she wailed. I thought she was exaggerating. Logan said she was confused, making things up. I didn't want to lose my job, John. I didn't want the drama. I stared at the wall, numb. You didn't want drama? I whispered. She's 7, Tessa. She sobbed every time we were alone. And you told me she just didn't like me. You let her suffer for your convenience. She kept crying, begging me not to involve the police, swearing we could fix this as a family. I didn't answer. I ended the call. Then I handed my phone with a recorded conversation to the officer and said, do what needs to be done. Chapter 6. Lily deserved better. Tessa was arrested that same evening in the arrivals area at the airport. The police had everything. Text logs, hidden photos, recorded audio, and the worst of all, her indifference. She didn't resist, didn't plead, but she did cry. And it wasn't for Lily. It was for herself. The charges came swiftly. Child endangerment, aiding and abetting abuse, willful neglect, obstruction in the investigation of a minor's assault. And because Logan was facing multiple charges for child abuse, the DA fast-tracked Tessa's indictment. Logan was taken into custody 2 days later, arrested at his office. Authorities found encrypted content on his laptop that removed any doubt. He was denied bail. As for Lily, I made a decision. I filed for custody. I didn't care how many legal hoops I had to jump through. She had no other family coming forward. But she had me. I told the court, social workers, and psychologists the truth. I would never leave her to fight this battle alone. I went to therapy sessions with her, answered hard questions, sat through home inspections, interviews, court evaluations. Whatever they asked, I showed up, and slowly, she began to trust again. Every time she reached out, my hand was there. Every time she trembled at a shadow, I held her close until it passed. And one day, the tears stopped. She laughed again, smiled. Once, while we watched cartoons together, she fell asleep with her head resting on my chest. Just before she dozed off, she whispered, "Daddy, thank you." That moment didn't break me. It healed me. Epilogue, light after darkness. Tessa received a 14-year prison sentence. Logan was sentenced to 25. The courtroom was full the day justice was served. Tessa never looked at me, but Lily did. She sat beside me, clutching my hand like it was the only safe place in the world. And maybe it was. Now, Lily's room glows with sunlight. Her walls are covered in drawings, not the ones filled with fear and red crayon screams, but bright images full of smiles, flowers, and joy. In one of them, 2 figures hold hands. One is labeled me. The other says Daddy. Because fatherhood isn't about DNA. It's about showing up. It's about protecting the ones who can't protect themselves. It's about love, no matter the cost. Was what happened to Tessa and Logan deserved? Was this justice or revenge? Let us know in the comments. Broken heart like the story. Repeat button, share it with someone who needs to hear this. Bell subscribe to Lauren's Stories for more gripping tales of justice, betrayal, and healing. Here, every lie is exposed. Every betrayal finds its reckoning. Stay aware, stay brave, and never look away from the truth.